Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm making some more artist trading cards on cardboard. I'm using my handmade washi tape for the background, but of course if you don't have washi tapes you can use any collage bits and pieces you have and just adhere them with a glue stick. If you want to make your own washi tape, I have two videos already on my channel. I will link those up in the info cards or in the video description, and there you can find them. The washi tapes are made from gummed paper tape. That means there is some glue on the backside of the tapes, and you have to just add water that will activate the glue, and then you can stick that down. I think usually artists use this tape to stretch watercolor paper to a surface, and I think the same paper tape is also used sometimes to close packagings. I'm just going through my stash, which becomes quite small. At the moment, my colorful tapes are running out, I think, and I will have to make some more. Please leave me a comment if you would like to see another video making some of these handmade washi tapes, because it's just the same technique as the others. But if you like to see that, I just can't record it, of course. I really like to work on cardboard because it's really light but stable, and I really like the feel of it in my hands, and especially for these small pieces of art or crafts, it's perfect. I also like to use them for index cards, and I think they are, if you do trading with these artist trading cards, they are quite nice because it's a bit more special than just a piece of paper. I'm doing the same to all of these three cards. I just adhere bits and pieces of that washi tape, and I will speed up the rest of the collage a little bit because the video is already quite long and YouTube does not like too long videos. Whilst these cards are drying, I'm going to prepare my focal images. I'm stamping some flowers of a brand new stamp set that hasn't come out yet, but it will be released tomorrow, so have a look at our shop so you don't miss that. It will be 10% off until Sunday. I'm stamping the flowers of the set to some Canson mixed media paper, and I'm using Versafine Clair ink because it's a waterproof ink and it's the best ink to get a good stamp impression. If you have problems getting a crisp image, it's always good to first re-ink your stamp pad. If that does not help, lay something soft under your surface you're working on, and If that doesn't work either, I don't know. I don't have any other idea that should work. Sometimes the ink is the reason. StazOn, for example, is super sticky. And if you have a photopolymer stamp like this and StazOn on top, it sticks so much and it will stick to your paper, and it will also don't allow the ink to transfer to the paper. A StazOn ink pad has to be full of ink, and the stamp, if it's brand new, then it's a bit more difficult to stamp with it. Once it gets used, the stickiness gets away a bit, and then it's much easier to get a good impression with a StazOn ink. But as I said, it's very important to re-ink the StazOn ink pads regularly. Also, StazOn ink is made to be stamped onto plastic, so if you let the ink sit too long on your stamp, it will just dry, and it dries quickly. So ink it up and stamp it immediately. Don't wait before you stamp it, because StazOn dries fast. And that's why I use it a lot, because when I stamp over acrylics, it's a plastic surface, and the Versafine Clair will not dry very good on a plastic surface. So StazOn is my go-to ink for that. Also, when you are stamping, make sure not to press too much. I pressed a little bit too hard here at the small, especially in smaller areas, and then you press down your stamp so much that you get a very thick line. That's not pretty, so try not to over press the stamp, especially not in areas where it's just a little detail. If you have an old book page stamp, for example, then you have to press a lot quite in the middle, not so much on the outsides, and usually that works quite well. I'm getting that fern leaf in on this small area of paper that I have left. I color them in quickly with some brush pens. I just use different ones, and I'm picking colors where I think they might be on the cards, so they will fit my cards. I have to say that I'm not a big fan of coloring in something. I'm doing very hard on that because I just don't have the patience to work slowly, and yeah. And here I'm using a blender brush pen to just blend these colors out, but you can use just a usual water brush for that. I just wanted to try if this makes any difference, and I think it makes it more worse than better. So you can use just a water brush. And that's a blender pen from the Ecoline series, and I don't know what's in there, but I think it cannot be so much different than just water. Maybe some glycerin, I don't know. Yes, and I try to make the images fit. I will color in all these 5, but in the end I'm only using 3 of them for my 3 cards. I will speed up this part as well because it's just coloring in very boring, and I bet there are so many other artists and creatives out there that are making the most beautiful colored in stamped images. I am not the best at this. By the way, the name of this stamp set is Doodle Flowers number 2. We had a number 1 set in the past, and we still carry it as a rubber sheet, not as a clear version. And it was very popular, and it sold quite well over the years. But after I don't know how long we had this, I got really bored of it, and I thought we need some different ones, and that's why we have this new set. We also have a brand new textured mushroom stamp set in a new version, because the old one also is going to be retired, especially the clear set. We still have a rubber plate of the first version, but we won't have rubber plates of the new stamp sets because the rubber has become so expensive, and it just doesn't work economically, I would say, for us here in Germany to keep on with the rubber sets. We also have 2 other stamp sets, but come back tomorrow to our blog and have a look at them. I will also post these cards to our blog today, so you can have a look at the close-up images of them. Whilst my flowers are drying, I'm cutting off the overlapping washi tape from my cardboard cards, and I'm going to cover them with a layer of clear gesso, so the background is prepared to take some other mediums like crayons, water, and whatnot. That's the perfect surface, I feel, for mixed media. A clear gesso, I love it. It's much more gritty than the white gesso, and every medium works on top. Also inks and watercolors. Whilst over white gesso, watercolors and inks do not really work. So that's something I really love. And that's the reason why I'm using the clear gesso. I have the one from Liquitex, and I will just spread this around with a dough scraper from the kitchen. It's easy to clean and the perfect tool for priming some backgrounds. My cards are dry and I have cut out all the flowers. I love fuzzy cutting. I do it a lot at the evenings in front of the TV, or sometimes if we have nice weather and I'm sitting outside with the kids, then I also do these kind of stuff like cutting out stamped images. I think there is not much to do to these cards because they have already background texture, different colors, and that's what I really like about the technique with the washi tapes, especially when they are handmade. What I feel, the flowers do not really pop up from the cards because the cards are so bright and vibrant, and I'm using Neocolors to 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 bring them back a little, or to just, I don't know, block them down. Not sure what's the right word for that, just to make them a bit more milky, lighter, and not so bam in your face. And I'm using the Neocolors in some shades of turquoise and green. I think they are just matching the cards and the flowers, and I'm moving them around with my water brush. I'm using the Neocolor II crayons, and they become a bit transparent, but they are also opaque, so they cover up a little bit of that texture on the background, and it will not be as full as it was before, and that makes the flowers stand out more from the background. I'm searching for the right colors where I think they will fit the whole card, and they will also match the flower or the leaf that I plan to adhere on top. What's also good with them, if you add too much, you always can remove them with a wet wipe because they are always water soluble, so that's just no problem. And I also love that the thinner you make them with water, the more translucent they get, and the background shows through, and that's really lovely. I usually like to have some white space on my work, and as there is no white space, I'm going to definitely add some splatters, and I'm using the Art Graf Tailor Shape crayon. I will link up all the products I'm using in the video description, and I think you will find that Art Graf tool at Craftelier, which is one of my favorite art supply and craft supply shops. Once the splatters are dry, I can adhere the flowers, and I'm using that craft glue. It's something that I got brand new from Craftelier. You saw that in the haul I posted last week, and I really like that one. It's perfect to adhere these smaller images to your projects. And what I also like is that it seems to dry quite quickly, and it holds very well because the paper is a bit heavy, and but it stays on the paper when I lay it down, and I really like that. And I believe this pen should be refillable with the tacky glue from Craftelier, and I'm really happy about that. In the past, I used a lot of the glossy accents to adhere such images, but that always clogged, and I always had to open it, and that was a bit annoying. And also sometimes if you are messing around with the glossy accents, you have these glossy bits around your image, and that's also something I don't really like. So I'm happy I found this glue. I'm also going to give every card a title. I have cut out some words from our mix sentiment stamp set, and the words were already stamped, and I've just cut them out. And I'm using a glue stick to adhere these because the paper is super thin, and that will work the best. I love my Tombow glue stick. I think you see it a lot on my channel. Here you can see some photos of the finished cards. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you are inspired. Jump over to our blog for the photos, and don't miss our new release tomorrow. I wish you a lovely rest of the week. Bye!